Let's talk to the man himself, the first ever head coach of LAFC, obviously former U.S. men's national team manager, a career in Europe as well. He returns to the United States to take the helm here of the expansion club. Bob Bradley on the line with us now. Bob, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, obviously, this is a big moment, a return to Major League Soccer, taking the helm of an expansion team. I know this is not your first go-around with an expansion team, but what is the first, what's the emotion here as you are unveiled as LAFC's first ever head coach?
I'm honored. I'm excited. Thrilled to be part of what I see happening here as I kind of work through the process. The vibe that you get inside this organization, obviously on the top end, everybody talks about the ownership group. As you get to know a few of them, smart people, successful people, but beyond that, such a commitment towards doing it the right way, and such a commitment to make sure that it really fits with everything that the city's all about. And then when you spend a little time getting to know other people in the organization, the energy that is there and the momentum that they've built, honestly, it blew me away. So in those ways, the idea now of trying to build a team that's going to fit with everything that they've started is something that I just couldn't be more excited about.
Were you considering a return stateside, or it obviously depended on the job, and LAFC has done work to convince you that this is the right opportunity. But had you considered coming back to Major League Soccer or American soccer post Swansea before all of this came about?
Jason, over the years, I've had different discussions with clubs in MLS. And, there's this idea out there that, I was in Europe and would I come back? But, if you know me better, I have an idea of what I think football is supposed to be and how a club is supposed to operate. And I have this vision and I have these experiences. And more than anything else, what drives me is to find a place where there's a real match, where I can take everything that I've done and put it into action with a group of people that see it the same way. And so, the period of time since Swansea, I've had different discussions, inside, outside. And you don't know as you're running through the process of all these different discussions exactly how it's going to play out. But as time went on, this one really came together in a way that I think all of us feel good about.
All right, so it's been a decade since you coached in Major League Soccer. I know you've been closely watching the league, but what is it that you think you're going to have to adjust to the most since you've been a coach in this league?
Probably a few rules have changed.
The rules are always changing, Bob.
Well, that's kind of my point, Look, on the field, the league has grown. Certainly, it's been fun to watch, and I of course pay attention, and I know players, and I know coaches. Every now and then you guys can go on a whiteboard and start writing names down of guys that have either coached with me or played for me, and then figure out how many of them are involved in really important positions in the league. And if you look at that list, then you'll realize that actually, I probably still keep pretty good tabs on what's going on. And look, I'm excited. I think tactically the league has grown. So, the part of now making sure you have a team that every time it steps on the field is well prepared, but that's not new. And earlier this year when Greg Vanny was talking about how he thinks they put together the deepest roster in history, and look, I think they've done a great job. But I think if you look back on that 2000 Chicago Fire roster, guess what? I think you would give Toronto a pretty good run for its money. And that was pre-academy and pre-TAM and pre a lot of things. But the idea of building a team, the rules change, but the real important idea of how you put it together, that doesn't change that much.
Obviously, there's going to be some significant interest in how you put this team together, how you and John Thorrington build this roster. And Bob, I know you're certainly aware of what's been written and said, and I think that there's this sense that Bob Bradley plays. I don't know what the correct descriptor is, Bob, but Bob Bradley plays a certain brand of soccer. Is there?
But Jason, let me stop you, okay? Because this is so old and so wrong and so boring that if the league has grown, then people like you and people who comment and talk and write about the league, then that means you've grown, right?
Sure.
And that means that actually you look at the details. And so, I mean, listen, Mexico had a summer of soccer this year, all right? We had one in 2009. When you think about two finals, I think Mexico would have been happy with two finals this go around, okay?
Uh-huh.
When you look at some of those Chicago Fire teams, somehow they got branded as being defensive and boring. Inside the league, people who knew those teams, everybody knew that was wrong. People who came to Soldier Field in those early years loved what our team was all about. So, look, that's out the window, and I don't expect that many of you have taken time to look at what some of the games with Egypt look like, what some of the games in Stabæk and Le Havre look like, and honestly, even moments in Swansea. Not enough, but moments where I think the football was going in the right direction. And so my ideas on football in terms of having a team that's exciting, having a team that's fun to watch, having a team that still understands how to compete, that hasn't changed. Of course, I think it's an improved version because all these experiences have paid off.
Bob, so that's obviously what this is about, though. You have a blank slate there at LAFC. So you get to go, I mean, obviously within the constraints of the league rules, which we just talked about, and the resources available to LAFC, you can go put together a team that you want to coach. Again, you've had the experience back in Chicago of doing something similar for whatever differences were in the league at that time. Are the expectations for you to come out next year and be a high-flying, high-scoring team? Is it to be balanced? Is it to win games by whatever means necessary so that you can get to the playoffs in the first year? I mean, what are the expectations for you personally?
The expectations are to build a good team that can compete, that's fun to watch. And then as you go through the season, you hope that things come together and you have a real chance to do something. So you don't on day one say, okay, here's the goal. Okay, what's the normal goal for an expansion team? It's to make the playoffs. But if things start coming together, like the way it happened in Chicago, that was a long time ago, but it wasn't like before the season we said, all right, the idea is to win the double. But at some point in that season, we knew we had a really good team, all right? And we knew that we were capable of doing some special things. And so that's how it works with every team. I mean, when I'm in Stabæk and in the second season and preseason, we played in a tournament in Portland. And we still hadn't even pieced together half our roster. And so at that moment, it's not like you said, well, our goal is to win the Tippa League or to qualify for Europa League. But at some point that year, our team came together in a way where you thought, you know what? We've got a chance to do some really good things. We can compete with Rosenborg. And so for me, that's how it works. And so I look forward to getting to work and then making sure that we come out of the gate in a strong way, but that as the season moves on, we see what we can accomplish.
All right, I know that you have a busy schedule. Diving straight in, what's the job? I mean, immediately here, what's the first task? I mean, are you guys able to think about signing players in the near term, or is that something that comes later? Or how do you build out the list of guys you want to go after and assistant coaches and putting everything? I mean, where do you start?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to take care of, and so it's not that there's one item. The idea of signing players, sure, there has to be discussion about signing at this time if the right guy's there and we can make it happen. But you also have to have ideas of other players that might be interested as time goes on. So John has done an excellent job. He's a smart guy, and I think he's really put a lot into it so far to lay out certain possibilities. The discussions have been good, and now I really look forward to joining in every day and trying to make this happen.
Did you expect, I'll finish this up here, Bob, as I said, I know you have to run, but did you expect that you'd be joining LAFC and launching a rivalry with the Galaxy for whatever that is, and who knows if it'll be on the field immediately or not, but that you would be across the way from Siggy Schmid in that capacity?
No, stranger things have happened, and certainly I have full respect for Ziggy. Was I sure that that's the way it would be today? No, I didn't think so. But look, this is part of the game for all of us, and so Kurt is still a young up and coming coach. He'll learn from this, and as far as Ziggy, with everything he's done, I know the opportunity for him to be back in the league is also important. So look, we now have a league that is similar to other professional leagues in the U.S. and similar to the football leagues around the world. These kind of things happen, and it's part of how the lives we all live.
There's an irony or I don't know what the word is here. I'm blanking a little bit, Bob. But you're back in L.A. after a decade away. Siggy returns after more than that to the Galaxy sideline. It's an interesting day for soccer in Los Angeles and a very bright future, I think, for both clubs. I appreciate the time, Bob. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Okay, Jason. Good talking to you.